We always say make farming fun, right? Why do we say that? Well, today is a great day to have a good day, and we truly mean it here at Regen Ag. I just want to share with you guys, sometimes we do funny off the wall stuff, but you know, seriously, that's just kind of an energy that we have and we bring to the table, because if you're not having fun, farming can be such a grind. It's really tough. There's a lot of hours involved. There's a lot of sacrifice. And so our idea is just go out and enjoy it. Remember why you truly decided to get into this industry, and you know, dig in the dirt, solve problems. Like, just enjoy yourself while you're doing it, because you know what, that's going to make it for a great lifestyle. So we close our videos with a lot of times with make farming fun. I want you guys to think about that on a daily basis and truly enjoy yourselves.
What does it even mean to make farming fun again? It's supposed to be funny?
No jokes. No fun. No fun in farming.
I got jokes.
You do? Fire one off.
What's a farmer's favorite Bruce Springsteen song? Born in the USDA.
What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. I'm good. Don't worry.
Speaking of cows, why do cows have hooves and not feet? Because they lactose.
What's a potato's least favorite day of the week? Friday.
What do you get when you cross a farmer in some trendy headphones? Beats by Dre.
How did the organic vegetable die? Natural causes. Shuck this. Get this ready to... Yes!
All right, fine. Whoever can throw this shovel the furthest across the field gets to dig the samples.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
21 feet.
Okay, your turn.
Whoa! They hire a guy and he goes like this. And what that does is all of that pollination then drops. I mean, it gets all over you, but it's
This thing's got to be at least 100, 200 pounds.
I grab a handful of this and I'm gonna take it to that trailer over there, and that's how we do this entire. Yeah, now.
We totally think it can be done. Soil health education. We're standing out here in a cover crop because this is the most important aspect of farming. If you don't have healthy soil, you can't grow healthy crops. And this is why we have this channel and why we're bringing this education back to you guys. Taking big, complex ideas and putting it down into a format that all of us can digest and actually implement on our farm.
One of the most important things that we're doing is we're going to cut these things open and we're going to evaluate how they look all the way through. We want to make sure that we don't have any sugar ends that start to form. We want to make sure that we don't have any brown center or hollow heart in here. We want to look at the outsides of the skins, make sure that we don't have any scab or anything like that. So these things are looking really good. What's going to happen from here is we're going to come out and we're going to put down a residue breakdown solution, right? Inoculants, all those processes that feed it. Products that augment the process. Nitrogen, we're talking enzymes, we're talking carbohydrates, sugars, humic, all those kind of things that really are going to break all this material down.
What it does, as you can see, it's a fungal infection. It comes in and you can see these little spots, And then what it does is it just slowly eats away until you end up with something that looks like this, and it just completely dries up and turns, totally dies off.
They skeletonize feed these leaves, and you can imagine what that can do if you leave this unchecked and what those hop cones are going to look like. I want to show you something else really cool. Right here, what we've got is a little colony that's hatched out. You can tell they were little, but we've absolutely smoked them. So
after you set that second ear, what your plant ends up doing is it runs out of energy to fill out that second ear. And so that's what we have happening here. As you can see, it pollinated because you're seeing some of the yellow kernels popping out, so it's pollinated. But guess what? It pushed all of its energy towards this beautiful one here, and so this one is lacking in nutrition, and that's just simply due to the plant saying, okay, we got to that stage where we want to fill the fruit, we don't have enough energy though.
Check out this root system. I mean, holding on to this material so well, nutrients, water, the whole gig. So you can see as we kind of clean that off, these things are jet white, just looking gorgeous. So we couldn't pull them all out of the ground. They want to rip up, but overall, you look at that, that's probably a 3.5 to 3.25 inch onion at this point. They're not all there, but I would say on average, probably 65% of them are at 3 inches or better.
This one's beautiful though. As you can see, we have very good color in our old growth. There's just a little bit of miscellaneous yellow leaf and stuff like that. But overall, this field is solid, has really good nutrition, really good growth. Come out, check down here real quick. As you can see, as that mint lays over, you get a lot of this secondary growth. This adds to your yield. It's wonderful. And you can see there's still a lot of nutrition. This mint is really vigorous, so we have a lot of this secondary growth coming up.
Tell us why farmers should be stepping away from agrochemicals right now in farming.
And that's a really loaded question. It takes a careful, measured response, but ultimately, the reason that's so important to us, and it should be so important to you, is ultimately that's where all roads are leading. When I say that from multiple standpoints that are important to farmers and their businesses, as well as where we're going and why we started this company. There's some different reasons. One, there may be some regulations coming in the future of these agrochemicals that we rely so heavily on. And also it's sort of market demand. You look at things like SAI and the global initiative and what's happening with all that by 2030. You start looking around, you start looking at the research, and really in any business, if you can get ahead of the trends that are coming, then you're going to be better prepared to win that battle. Another thing just to mention is there's a heightened awareness of environmental impact of every industry. Certainly farming plays into that as well. So, we need to be looking at that from the standpoint of, can we continue to use all the things that we're using to solve problems, or is there in fact another way of doing it? And I think that's where regenerative ag and utilizing softer chemistry products comes into the fold, because ultimately what we're talking about doing is solving the same problems with different materials that have less downstream impacts. When you talk about EIQ and metrics like that, I think it brings a lot of hope that, one, you can be incentivized by the way that you farm and the way you go about it. We can get the consumer involved in that process and saying, this is how your food was raised and this is why it's worth what it's worth. And then also maybe there's some other incentives like longer term contracts with the buyers of these products.
We talk year to year about quality of crops, yields, dollars at the end of the day, but discuss with us by reducing agrochemicals, how can this make farms better? How can there be generational wealth in the soil for farmers? What's the advantage for them in doing this?
Yeah, so why reduce agrochemicals? I think that if we're honest with ourselves, there's a lot of things that we utilize those chemicals for currently that if they pulled the rug out from underneath us, it would not be a soft landing. It would, in fact, we would really struggle, I feel like. And to me, if I'm looking at any business, they say, well, what are my potential weaknesses? What are my pitfalls? What are my downfalls? And that could be one of them. So we address that. How do we address that? Well, ultimately it comes down to making soils healthier, making plants healthier to defend themselves, and just attacking these problems that we're experiencing from a different standpoint to actually solve them, rather than just continuing to use the Band-Aid approach and cover them up to get through another season.